You're watching The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ MV Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are The Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building this morning.
He hasn't been here in a couple of years, but we damn sure been watching him.
Absolutely. John Legend, ladies and
I'm
gentlemen.
back.
He's a daddy now.
I'm a father.
Congratulations.
I love it.
A daddy and a zaddy.
How's the baby doing?
She's good. See, she's 5 months now, so things are changing. She changes every day.
Are you starting to sleep now?
Well, yes,
Okay.
because she's sleeping more through the night, and it's a little more peaceful. But you just resign yourself to sleeping less.
Mm-hmm.
Everything with sleep changes when you have a baby.
How do you decide who changes the Pampers?
But y'all used to it. Y'all
Chrissy?
gotta be on at 6 o'clock in the morning every morning. So.
Yeah, I got 5, so I'm used to it already.
There you go. So, but I gotten used to it too because I had to fly all the time, and I would catch flights at 6 in the morning all the time. So, you just adjust.
Has it kicked in yet, like being a father?
Yes.
Okay.
It definitely kicked in pretty immediately. I think I told my wife it really kicked in when I took her up to get her first, they take blood to test
shots.
all this and the shots.
She cried.
When she's crying and she was holding my hand, I was like, yeah, that's when it kicked in. that was like in the first few hours. That was in the first few
bad
hours.
to see her getting like a shot, and you're like, oh my gosh, I know.
Yeah, she just started wailing. I was like, oh.
Did you want to punch the doctor? The first time I
No,
was like, come on, man.
it's just heartbreaking. And then you also realize that, you're responsible for making sure she stays safe and she's good. And it makes you feel like it makes your priorities change.
Do you feel like you have to share the kids? Because I saw her with the chef hat on. Like, do you feel like that you have to share that via Instagram?
No, it's fun though. It's like everybody. We're like everybody else too.
Right,
You want to
it's cute.
share.
You wanna share the cuteness.
You want to share your kids. You want to share your life, and y'all would do it too on Facebook
Charlamagne
or
doesn't.
No, I don't do
Instagram or whatever.
Yeah, I
and
do.
Charlamagne never posts his kids.
No, people want to shoot at me, so I don't need them shooting at my family. Too, I mean.
Understood. Nobody's trying to shoot me yet, at least.
Oh, you keep being the social justice warrior you are.
I get some nasty comments on Twitter, but no one's
threatening your
making
life.
the threats yet.
Like, you have become quite the social justice warrior. Like, what made you start using your voice in that way?
Well, the thing is, I always was. I'm just more famous now. I think I always was that, but it just gets more attention now because I'm a more well-known figure. But when I was 15, I wrote an essay saying I was going to do exactly what I'm doing now. I said I'm going to be a famous singer, and I'm going to use my fame to help my community and speak out for people who need help and who need someone to speak on their behalf.
Dope.
And so I've been doing it. And I've been doing it since the beginning, but now it gets more attention.
Yeah.
And I saw you talking about stop and frisk, which was a huge argument and debate that we had up here on The Breakfast Club.
Yes.
And you had some thoughts on
Who was
stop and
pro
frisk.
stop and frisk?
That was DJ.
DJ. And he's Dominican and black.
I'm not Dominican, I'm full black.
So you think it's okay for them to stop people because of the color of their skin in the middle of the street for no reason?
Well, that wasn't my argument. My argument was I believe stop and frisk could work if it was altered. Color of skin, no, but certain areas where crime is high and murders are high. And
But do you
violence is high
think
and
even
rapes
if
are
you
high,
grow up in that neighborhood that you should be subject to being frisked every day just because of you living there? You think that's the environment that a teenage boy should grow up in?
Well, the problem with that is, with stop and frisk, you get a lot of guns off the street. Last year. Well,
But it didn't work. They brought all those brothers.
They got a lot of guns off the
stop
street.
and frisk all those brothers, and
Found nothing,
0.02%, I think it was,
Right.
of the time they found something.
But that was 900 guns. That was a lot. I mean, it's
I don't know
small-
where
it's a
you keep
small-
getting that
it's-
number from.
It is. No, it's they said over 700,000 people were stopped and frisked.
But all we have to know,
it was 900 guns, and now they're only pulling 200 guns, and there's 700 guns. And the reason I wasn't.
But our homicide rate in New York,
did
since
go
that
down.
happened, has gone down
Even
significantly.
since they stopped doing stop and
It
frisk,
did go
Yes.
murder
But
rates went
I
down,
felt
which is
at
interesting.
first I
And we
was
have
against
rights.
it.
We have rights
You're
to
right.
walk through the streets without unreasonable search and
But we
seizure. That's the
also-
Fourth
But
Amendment.
we also have to be safe. And at first I was against it. I was
Yeah.
like, F stop and frisk. And then last week, when somebody put 3 bullet holes in my Rolls Royce trying to shoot and kill me from an area where crime is one of the highest and murders rate is one of the highest, I have to say we have to do something because in our neighborhoods we're not snitching.
I think
So
we
we're
need-
not telling. Let me finish. We're not snitching. That we're not telling. We're not getting guns off the street. So how do we get these guns off?
I think we need stricter gun laws. Then.
Yeah, I don't think
you should
stop
take
and
people's
frisk
civil
is the
liberties
answer.
away.
But
well, I do believe we need stricter gun laws that apply to everybody, not just people of color in certain neighborhoods. And I don't believe that anybody should live their life. If they're doing nothing wrong, they shouldn't deal with police harassing them every day because of what they look like and what neighborhood they grow up in.
And it's on two sides. It's twofold because I've been stopped and frisked a bunch of times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then I got shot at a couple of times. So
Yeah.
it's a double-edged sword. You know, at the end of the day, I want to be safe. I want these kids going to school to be safe. I don't
But
want
the bottom
7-year-old
line
girl
is
getting
our
shot.
neighborhoods are safer than they have been. Our murder rate's lower than it's been in decades, in New York especially. And it got lower after we stopped stop and frisk.
People are still getting shot. On
I know, it's
scary.
not good. I think we got to
scary.
do something about guns, though.
I agree with that.
Now, John, don't you think there comes a point where we have to police our own communities, though, because those people in the communities that are getting harassed are getting harassed because of the sins of others in the community?
But then you still have to live
But
there,
how do
so-
you police them? Like, if you're a regular person on the street, what are you going to do about drug dealer X that's causing your neighborhood to be more violent? Like, what are you personally going to do? That's not going to get you hurt.
That's true, but then again, you can't trust the police either,
Yeah.
right? So it's like
A lot of
they're
them-
the only ones I can call.
And that's my whole thing. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
And
So
if you
it's a
call
tough
them,
situation.
look what happened to the guy yesterday. The sister called
to get help.
Yeah.
to get help,
And
Yep.
and he
my
got
brother was
shot.
killed. Yeah.
So-
it's a tough situation. I mean, it's a sticky climate.
Man, oh, it's and
We
it,
need love,
and it
man.
starts so far back because
We do.
the fact that even these so-called ghettos exist is policy,
Right.
housing discrimination policy that created neighborhoods where there was a high concentration of poverty and a high concentration of black and brown people, and that's where all the crime is originating from. Because when you have all that concentration of poverty, then there's all these other things that go with that, and that's policy too. So you got to start from the beginning.
And I've
Anyway,
heard parents complaining about after-school programs getting cut, and there's nothing for the kids to do, nothing productive.
Yeah.
It makes it very difficult, or it costs money to, find some programs to enroll your kids in. It makes
Yes.
it very difficult if you don't have the money to pay for that.
Yeah, it's so much more that goes into why we have violence in certain neighborhoods, and I don't think it makes it better to subject all of our kids to harassment on a daily basis and feeling like they're in occupied territory
Or
on a
seeing
daily
your
basis.
dad, your uncle, your brother.
Yeah, you
getting
shouldn't feel
frisked.
like you're in a police state all the time. Nobody should grow up in that
What's
situation.
the answer?
Well, I think there's a lot of answers. I think, one, we do have to do something about guns. We shouldn't live in a society so awash with guns that makes the cops fearful and makes them suspicious of everybody because they know so many people are armed. Like, we shouldn't be in that situation.
Now, you travel a lot. I know
Yeah.
you've been to Toronto, you've been to Japan, and you notice when you go to a lot of these countries, people are not allowed to have guns.
Yeah, and their murder rates are way lower.
they're way
Their
lower.
suicide rates are lower, too.
Way lower. You know,
Because when people have guns, they end up using them.
Absolutely.
So banning guns in full, you're saying?
I'm not saying that necessarily would work, but if we look at Australia, they did something over there where they had a few mass shootings, and they said, you know what, we're going to take a pretty significant approach to reducing the amount of guns on the streets. And it worked. They didn't have another mass shooting. Their murder rate went down. And we won't do it here because we got the Second Amendment, we got the NRA that's going to lobby against it. And maybe it won't be constitutional to do that. But at the end of the day, it actually worked. And if we want to talk about what makes us safer, that would make us safer.
Yeah, and
not
amendments-
stop and frisk.
And amendments are made to be amended.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? You have this. You talk about the Second
but
Amendment.
we're a democracy too, so the people got to get behind it if we want something to change. And
Right.
maybe it won't happen, but just know that we're not normal. Our country is not normal. Our murder rate is not normal. We shouldn't be used to that.
And then they talk about the buyback program, and I was talking to kids in Queens, and it was like they would never bring their gun to a buyback because they don't trust the fact that if I bring my gun in for money, that they're not going to check the ballistics on the gun. They're not going to see where that gun came from. So they would never.
Well, you'd have
bring their gun.
to grant some kind of amnesty, I guess,
Which
if you're
I
going to
thought they
bring
did.
let people
They
do
say
it.
it, but people don't believe
People
it.
did do the
Yeah, I
buyback,
understand.
though.
Yeah.
I wouldn't believe-
People did do it.
I wouldn't believe it. I mean, you should, but they're saying that's
Yeah.
what it is. But it's hard.
And
to
a lot of
believe,
times
you know?
with gun laws, because they're state to state, if you, like in Chicago, they just go over to Indiana because the gun laws are so
Right.
much more relaxed.
Right.
So even if Illinois has strict gun laws, they can just go over to Indiana and get a gun. So I think we'd have to do something nationally that was much more pervasive to get rid of guns.
Do you think certain neighborhoods in Chicago, because everybody always likes to bring up Chicago, do you think certain neighborhoods in Chicago need stop and frisk?
No. I don't believe it's constitutional, and I don't believe it works. And I think New York is a good example of that.
Right.
Or-
They did say at that same period of time when even though crime decreased in New York, it decreased more in other major states where there was no stop and frisk. So
yeah, and crime has been decreasing around the Western world for decades. It's a worldwide trend that crime's been decreasing. And everybody's been doing all kinds of different things in each of those countries, different policies, but it's partly just a human trend that crime's been going down.
There we go.
Now let's talk about voting, because you tweeted out maybe people think some perfect candidate is going to show up and they're waiting for that. It will never happen. Vote for the best one. Why do you think it's important to vote even if you don't like either candidate?
Well, I think it's foolish to think that there's no difference between the two candidates. Like, if you watch the debate Monday night, you saw one that was clearly prepared, clearly intelligent, clearly qualified, and you know, whether you're liberal or conservative, that's up to you. So you might not agree with everything she had to say, but at least you know that one person, Hillary Clinton, knows what she's doing.
Absolutely.
And then you watch another person who reminds me, I tweeted this the other day, he reminds me of when I didn't read for the test or I didn't study for the test.
It's Mark C on everything.
Right,
He just makes up stuff and it's like a word salad of nonsense.
Absolutely.
You can tell he never prepared. He doesn't know anything.
He's
When they asked him about nuclear first strike, he didn't even know what that was. And you could tell he didn't know because of the way he answered, because he answered actually two different ways for the same question, two different contradictory things.
He was trying to remember his talking points.
And he was he doesn't know.
Yeah.
And you can't pick somebody that's completely unprepared and at the same time has the temperament where he can't even take an insult without reacting crazily to it.
Right.
Like he acts like a child.
That was hilarious when he told Hillary about her temperament.
Yeah, that was hilarious. He's basically the I know you are, but what am I candidate? Because whenever he has a vulnerability, he basically will call you that. So whatever he calls her, that's what you know his vulnerability is. He's like, I got the best temperament. Obviously, he doesn't. Everyone on earth
knows
that. We all, any of us that have kids, we would never want our kid to be like Donald Trump.
Never.
There's nothing about his character that you would want to emulate or have your child emulate. How are we going to elect that person president of the United States of America?
A lot of people follow him, and I don't understand how. You know, you drive
and we all know he's
You
racist.
see bumper stickers that say Trump. And I'm like, I don't understand. I don't get it.
Yeah, the problem with racism is you can't prove it, but
Yes, you can actually for him. That's the crazy thing. Because
Yeah.
there's so many racist people that you can't prove it. But he actually puts it out there. He wouldn't rent to black people in his apartments.
Yeah, definitely.
He said about Mexicans that they're sending rapists and murderers and maybe a few nice people too. That's racist.
But he hides it under the guise of we're protecting people. We're going to build the wall.
Yeah,
and keep the rapists and
that's what the KKK said too.
Yeah.
They were protecting white women from black men who were going to rape them.
We
Well,
have
that's what
Mexican people who live here in the United States that are citizens.
Well, how do you explain Omarosa and Diamond and Silk then?
I can explain it. You know, everybody makes mistakes, and some people do some wild things for money.
All right, now let's switch gears a little bit here. John Legend, you really impressed me. One thing that I saw that you did was in lip sync battle as MC Hammer.
We was Hammer. I remember that.
And then I
remember
just
how impressed
did you see my
were?
Andre 3000 last week?
No, I didn't see
I did
that.
Andre too.
Wow, I came up in here in the
Why
studio
the
and I
hell you
said,
got so
y'all
much
got
time
to
for
see
lip sync
this.
battle?
Well, obviously my wife is on the show,
Okay.
and you know, so if she asked me to do it, then
So
I
when
do
they
it.
can't get a
She
guest
said
this
no.
week, hey, could you call John again?
I've been on there twice,
Yeah.
and I have fun on there. I love it.
Now I got to go search that one.
He killed the typewriter.
Hey, you know, with the voting thing, right? After I saw the debate, I said to myself, I thought about the Jay-Z line where Jay-Z says, government, we're going to politic ourselves.
Yeah.
I feel like I should just pray to God, keep working, and get this money and empower myself so I can empower my people and empower my community. Like, I don't feel like either one of those candidates can do anything.
Well,
for
I
me.
think we should do that regardless.
Yeah.
But we can't act like there's no difference between the two of them and that one wouldn't be worse than the other. That's my thing.
Yeah.
Let's not act like one wouldn't be worse than the other. Like if you care about women's rights and them having access to Planned Parenthood and reproductive health services and the right to choose what to do with their body and with their own reproductive choices, like there's a clear choice.
Gotcha.
If you care about somebody who, if you would rather have stop and frisk, then you got your candidate. You have Donald Trump. He'll give it to you. But if you think that black and brown men should be able to walk the streets without getting harassed by the police, then you got another candidate. If you believe, you know, that we should have a sane person running the country, then you got a choice.
Gotcha.
You got a choice, and it makes a difference.
One thing I like about Hillary is that I do know a lot of people who work on her campaign, a lot of women of color who actually work on her campaign, who love her, respect her, and have really positive things to say about her, even just off the record.
Yep.
Just as far as working with her, what it's like behind the scenes.
And you know why? Because she actually puts in the effort to listen to people. She goes to the communities, and she don't just go 2 months before the election.
Right.
She goes and actually talks to people, and I think she has made mistakes that we should be holding her accountable for in the past. She said some things that I don't agree with in the past, but she actually goes to the effort to figure out what she did wrong and tries to correct it. And the policies she talks about reflect the conversations that she's had with actual people that she cares about listening to. And you can tell she's been listening to us.
Right.
You can tell she's been in our communities by the things she's saying. The thing she said in the debate the other day, we haven't had a candidate say that about systemic racism.
I think Bernie Sanders started that. I agree, but we haven't had a major candidate that's been the nominee for our party or for the Republican Party say the things she said about racism. And that's because she's been listening to us and the people pushed her into that direction. And I think that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
Now, what about people who's like black people, especially who point to her super predator comment?
Yeah, and I think she was wrong for saying that, and she has apologized for it.
Apologized a couple of times.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is we have pushed her in a more progressive direction by saying, you know, you were wrong about that, and you need to explain that and come up with something better.
And people grow.
Yeah, and she has. I honestly think she has.
Now, you agree with Colin Kaepernick's stance as well?
Yeah, well, I agree with what he's protesting. Yeah, absolutely.
What kind of things would you do to protest?
Well, part of it's just saying what I say. I speak out all the time about police brutality. I speak out actually more about the overall criminal justice system, how many people we lock up, how we're the most incarcerated country in the world. I talk about it all the time.
You encourage people to vote.
I encourage people to vote, but also go and visit prisons and go to state legislatures and try to get them to change laws. And I've been doing that for the past few years.
Now, how can people do that? Because a lot of people don't know how. They hear it all the time. You have to, you have to, you have to. What would you advise people to do to get some of this change in their community?
Well, a lot of it is voting because like what we did in Chicago, we didn't like the district attorney there. And we thought that the district attorney was leading to more oppression and was violating the rights of too many people and wasn't concerned about the community. So we went in and advocated for Kim Foxx to get elected district attorney there, and we helped her get elected. But if people don't vote, then it doesn't matter if we talk up a certain candidate. We have to know because we have to know your DA.
Common said the same thing, and I think a lot of artists are educated, and I don't see that in a lot of places like you guys have done in Chicago, like in New York. I don't see artists coming together and saying we have to do this together.
I think y'all focus on politics more on a local level in Chicago. That's something that
I'm not from Chicago. I never lived in Chicago. I'm from Ohio.
Springfield.
And we just picked that particular race because it was pivotal, and we saw a person that we really could get behind and supported that person. We went against Angela Corey in Jacksonville, Florida. She's the woman that prosecuted the Trayvon Martin case and the George Zimmerman case. And but she was considered the most aggressive prosecutor in the country. She went after the death penalty more often than anybody, and she almost always would target black or brown people when it came to harsher punishment. And so we spoke out against her, and she lost.
Man, if Trump gets elected, they're going to audit you, man.
Oh, I know they are. I know they are. I really, everyone jokes about they're going to move, but I might really have to move because that dude, not only not only have I spoken out against him, but he is the type of person that would retaliate. Yeah, he's the type of, and do we really want that kind of person in the presidency? He can retaliate against the press. He can retaliate against people that don't agree with him for whatever reason. And he can use the judicial branch, the executive branch to do that. Like, that is dangerous.
Right.
That is really dangerous. So to act like, oh, they're both terrible. No. Hillary is a very smart, very qualified, very concerned person that's been working in public service for a long time. Trump is an awful person.
If anything,
there's no comparison.
If anything with Hillary, you get more of the same.
Yeah, that's the worst.
That's the worst.
That's the worst you get is more of the same. That's the worst you would get.
Now switch.
And by the way, the same. We had a 2008
2009, the unemployment rate was 10%. It's 4.9% now. So if we get more of the same, 4.9% is not bad.
That's great.
So if we just get the status quo, which basically she's saying she's continuing Barack Obama's policies, basically, with some improvements. Maybe we'll get the public option for healthcare or a few other things. But basically it's going to be status quo with some improvements. Like, we'll be good.
Yeah, that's the other thing, too. You did Southside with you, which I think is very important because I think that we have to keep Barack Obama's legacy going. If Trump gets in the White House, he's going to try to erase Barack's legacy.
Oh, man, he's already tried to erase it. He tried to delegitimize him by saying he wasn't even born here and that he wasn't legally elected president.
Right. Now, let's switch to music for a little
Anyway.
Are you signed to music still?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
One more album, actually.
Damn, you keeping count?
No.
Damn, John.
It's a 5 album deal with Columbia and Good Music, and this is my 5th album.
Now, you're not going to say will you stay, but it seems like you would go more independent. You play everything yourself, you do everything yourself, you promote yourself.
Well, first of all, I wouldn't say that because Kanye, throughout my career, has written with me, produced for me, and I wouldn't be where I am without his help. So I never am that type of person. I'm like, well, I'm good by myself. I'm never not grateful. Right. So I'm going to make a business decision for the future, and I'm going to do what's in my best interest. But I'm never going to deny how important Kanye was for my career. And
you're not going to Kid Cudi him?
Nah, never. Never. Because, like I said, I understand how I became successful, and I know I'm talented, but you need breaks for your talent to get to the place where you can be heard and be seen, and Kanye helped provide that for me.
I'm reading a book now called That One Thing, and it talks about how everybody, he said nobody did it on their own.
Never.
Everybody had one person.
Everybody had something, and we're lucky to even be born in the time that we are, because there were times when way fewer opportunities were available to us. And so there's all kinds of things that conspire for us to be successful. Part of it is being talented and working hard on your own, but you need breaks and you need somebody else to help you. And Kanye was one of those people.
When is the new project coming out? When is the new album?
It's coming soon. It's coming very soon.
No exact date yet, though.
No exact date. We're just working with the label trying to figure it out, but it'll be soon. And it'll be by the end of the year, and the single's coming very soon.
Is it gonna be real fight to power?
No, not really. It's still a lot about love, but it's also about, just being a human being, living in the world right now, being a father, being a husband, just all the things that make me who I am.
How loose does Chrissy keep you?
Loose? What does that mean?
Like, just
like she seems very fun.
Yeah, because before
I would say
she was like real.
she makes me more fun. I agree with that. I'm a little more like nerdy and like buttoned up, and then Chrissy's obviously a lot of fun and she's hilarious. So I think she loosens me up. Yes, I agree with that.
Because she's a very honest person. I remember we was doing something for MTV once, and she told the story. But I met John on the video shoot, and I slept with him that same night.
Yeah,
and look
that's
at us,
true.
We're together.
That's true. That is what happened.
You wanted that story out there.
She said it. She said it in public multiple times.
No, it worked out.
Yeah.
People always act like, I don't know.
I think people think there's rules to everything. Like if you sleep with someone on the first night, there's no way they'll respect you and they'll never stay with you. And we proved that that's not the case.
That's
Did you say
interesting
it was
as a
love at
man,
first
though. Yeah, did you ever feel like any reservations? Like,
Nah, because why would I judge her? Because I would want to do the same thing. Like I wanted her to sleep with me. Yeah. So, like,
y'all had a great day.
Should I make her feel like she's evil for actually doing something I wanted to do?
That's
also,
real.
Like, I don't know.
What made you feel in that relationship that, because most men would be like, oh, she slept with me the first night. She probably does that to everybody. What made it special?
Maybe it's because I'm arrogant a little bit.
You thought it was you?
I'm like, hey. Why wouldn't she sleep with me the first night?
I'm John Legend.
No, but honestly, part of it's just getting to know the person. Like, if you fall in love with the person and their personality, their sense of humor, and all these other things, then you develop that respect over time. And it's not about some arbitrary rule about what date they're supposed to sleep with you. Right. It's about, do I love being with this person? Do I enjoy being with this person? Do they bring the best out of me? And then that's it.
You think you were in love like right away? Could you feel that it was different?
I was definitely in love within the first few months. I wouldn't say right away. I never fallen in love with anyone right away, but she was the first person I actually truly fell in love with, like all the way.
You should never fall in love though, John. You're supposed to grow in love with people.
Yeah, honestly, that's
that's
actually a better description.
Yeah.
That's actually how it happened.
Who said I love you first?
I did.
The first night, that
No.
that poom poom was good, John. Like I love you.
No, that is not true. I did not say that.
Spend the rest of my life with you.
That is not what happened. That is not what happened. But you know, I said it first, but I could tell she was about to say it, so I just was like, let me go in, because I actually felt it too.
Are you guys doing a sitcom, The Ordinary People?
No, not anymore.
Got picked up by ABC. What happened?
It got a you know how development works on TV. You can get a deal to start working on a show, but they don't necessarily pick up the pilot, so they didn't pick it up.
You still you shopping at other people now, or?
No, not right now, but we'll see.
What makes you fall back on it? Like, what made you say?
I mean, we have other shows, we got other stuff going on. It wasn't like if it didn't work out. That's my approach. It's like with songs. Like I write 50 songs for a 10-song, 12-song album, and with TV shows, like only like 1 in 5 actually make it to pilot. So you just throw out ideas and have somebody invest in it, and then if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
I was wondering if you was gonna go back to music, because I'm telling you, every time I be out in this TV world, your name is always up. Like you executive producing a lot of things.
Yeah, we're doing a lot, but you know, we got a team that works on TV and film, and so I don't have to focus on it all the time, and I still write songs all the time. And a lot of the projects we do in TV and film, I'm writing the music for it too. So I never was not doing music, and I've been working on this album for the past couple years. And it's almost ready.
Underground was your show?
Underground is our show. It's
Southside
coming back with a second season at the beginning of the year.
Southside was your movie?
Yeah, executive produced a movie called La La Land with Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone. Acted in that as well and wrote a song for it. So that's coming out in December.
Sheesh.
So
John getting these checks.
John gotta go, guys.
All right, man. Damn.
People is telling me he gotta go. He got something to do.
You ain't been in 3 years.
Well, we'll see him 3 years later. We'll see him in 3 more years, all right?
So are we going to get this single to play? Like when is
Yeah, it's coming soon.
Coming soon? We can't get it
slow?
today?
Is it fast? Give me some
It's
type
like
of...
a mid-tempo.
Well, we're not gonna get it today, huh?
Soon.
And the album's gonna be called Darkness and Light, right?
Yeah.
It's about skin complexion.
Yeah. It's about colorism.
It's about Charlamagne's face.
Exactly, Charlamagne. Exactly.
It's The Breakfast Club. It's John Legend.
The Breakfast Club. Every weekday morning. Tune in.